that's where I feel like I tend to not post some things that or might be going through at the moment, and I kind of dim that because I feel like it's going to hurt someone or affect someone when it's probably not. It's just me thinking that way.
You might feel guilty like sharing good news with somebody that's struggling, but I think if that person that's struggling is a good friend and they care about you, they're not going to be bothered by the good news. Welcome to the Limitless Tribe, where two badass women build businesses, chase dreams, and keep it way too real. I'm Kat.
And I'm Mel. We're the founders of Powerhouse Admins and the Limitless Tribe, and we're inviting you into the messy middle, the mindset shifts, and the CEO glow-ups we never see coming.
Now let's get into it.
So today we're talking about something that doesn't get talked about enough, right? How you're allowed to feel good about your life. I know it sounds simple, but for a lot of people it's actually really hard when you are so content or just content about different things that are going on in your life, but feel guilty kind of for even saying it out loud or letting other people know. You know, sometimes when things are going well, you want to tell people, but then you have this guilt because you don't know like how others are doing. Maybe someone else isn't doing okay, or, you know, someone's struggling with something that you know, or just the world feels heavy. I know, Cathy, I feel like you felt that before, right? Have you?
Yeah, well, with the world one, I try to, which is not great, but I try to be like an ostrich a little bit.
I'm with you. I do too. I try not to even watch news sometimes because I can't. Because if I watch the news, I get very depressed, and then I start taking on stuff that I can't fix.
Yeah, it feels really heavy, and then I just feel like if I am down, then I show up not great in everything that I do, which doesn't add anything good to the world. Yeah. So it's like in the back of my mind, and it's something I think about, but I try not to think of it like super constantly or dig in too much, because then I'll go down that rabbit hole. The other things are with people. It depends on who you have around you, right? I don't have that issue too much, but I think sometimes you might feel guilty like sharing good news with somebody that's struggling. But I think if that person that's struggling is a good friend and they care about you, they're not going to be bothered by the good news.
No, I think you're right. I think that if someone cares about you, they'd be happy for you that you're doing well and things are going, you know, well in your life. But I think it's more of a personal thing that you feel bad because you know, like, at least for me, like I know that
you're like,
yeah, like they're not that they're gonna feel it, but I'm gonna feel like I'm kind of putting this out there or maybe rubbing it in their face, but that's not my intention. So I think it's more on me than on that person at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes with that, I try to tell myself, like, not in every situation, but in a lot of situations, people are where they're at based on the decisions that they made.
Correct.
So maybe somebody is struggling right now, but your whole life you've overspent, you buy brand name clothes that you can't afford, you take vacations on credit and all these things. Meanwhile, like, I didn't take any vacations for a very long time, and I saved every penny and I didn't spend, and I buy super cheap to be able to get to a point where I'm more comfortable, where I have this wiggle room, and now I can start to do those things. I try not to feel guilty about that because I know I had my time where I was super safe to make sure that I could get here. And other people might not have had that time.
Yeah.
But if you can't really share, like, you feel like you can't enjoy, especially certain situations you really want to share with somebody.
Yeah.
You know? I'm a big, like, empath. I sometimes say that it's like the X-Men guy that has the glasses.
Yes.
That it's like this superpower that is uncontrolled. If you don't have these glasses, it's just like uncontrolled. So
wait, before you go on, I want to say I am empathetic. Cathy is to the extreme empathetic. I feel like my daughter is the same way, that she takes on a lot of things from other people, and sometimes I have to tell her, like, you have to take a step back. But Cathy is that way. She is very empathetic. If you tell her a story, she's just crying. Like, you're not even the one crying, but she's crying, and it's happening to you. And I'm like, okay.
And you know, so I feel like I don't cry for my things as much.
Yes, I agree. I feel I don't know. I don't think I've seen a lot of struggles lately, right? Because things are pretty good. But I feel like, yes, you do have that such empathy with other people that you probably do cry more with their things because you feel it more for some reason.
I don't know why. Yeah, like, I feel like I'm stronger with my things. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. But other people, I'm like, and sometimes it's with TV, and my husband's like, you know, like, they died, and he's like, you know, they're in the other show we watch. They're alive. And I'm like, but they're not alive right now.
That's funny.
Like I feel it, like it's happening, or like somebody goes through like like they go through like a loss of a child, and I'm like, I feel like what that loss would have felt like. Obviously not to that extreme, but enough percentage where it hurts, and it's a fake scenario.
Yeah.
That's very annoying.
Yeah.
I have to like control the shows that I watch because it affects my mood, it affects my attention. If I'm already feeling a little bit tense, I can't watch like a drama or things like that. That's where a lot of this comes from, where like you are so aware of how everybody is feeling or how everybody is doing, and you don't want to share something and come off the wrong way or hurt their feelings. Sometimes I feel like there's like a fine line between like being proud and rightfully proud, right? And happy, and being like boastful. And I don't want to be boastful, but like when
I get what you're saying.
Proud, you want to like share the things that you've been doing. Yeah. But with the empathy thing, you have to be really careful to cut the ties pretty much, and just know that this isn't something to care for yours to carry. Like if they're struggling, you know, deep dive a little bit into their life. What kind of things do they do? Sometimes they take more pleasures in life than you do.
Yeah.
So they've made their choice to do that versus be financially stable. So, you know, don't overthink. I don't know. Enjoy your life and don't overthink like the stuff that's happening with other people.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's what I try to tell Victoria, because sometimes she just, you know, she's a mess, just crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, so-and-so told me that. And I'm like, okay, Vicky, I'm like, but you can't, like, you have to, that's their life and what they're going through, and I understand that it hurts and that, you know, you're sad for them, but you need to take a step back, because now at this point you're debilitated. Like she can't, it's like she can't function for like a few hours or maybe even the rest of the day, because now she has a headache from being so sad and crying, and now she has a migraine and she's laying with the lights off, and I'm like, you can't take that on. You can't, because now what are you going to do for the rest of the day? You know, and it's a lot for someone that has so much empathy.
Yeah, it's really hard to disconnect the feeling. That's why I didn't become a therapist.
Yeah.
I really wanted to, but
I don't think that's the job for you, let me tell you. I
would have been crazy.
I agree.
1 week I would have been crazy.
Yeah. Plus she would have just told every woman to leave their man.
Yeah.
Like, he did that, goodbye.
Not the one. So yeah, I couldn't do it, but I still need to figure out in life a way to minimize that.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you have situations like that where do you take on other people's emotions, or do you have moments where you feel like you don't want to share a win because you don't want to come off as like boastful?
I think both. I think I take on people's emotions, but not as much, like I'm going to say, like not as much as you or Victoria do. I tend to, like, if someone's going through something, like they had a miscarriage maybe, or just got diagnosed with cancer, that will affect me for a while. Like I go down a rabbit hole of feeling very sad for them, then I feel guilty, and then I start even like looking up different things that they can do. Like I tend to take these things on myself, and then I start like, what can they do to get themselves out of the funk? Or what medications can they take as supplements, and what doctors should they see, and like all these things. And you know, I've spent the rest of the day researching stuff for them that they didn't even ask for,
and are maybe not even gonna
or don't even want. But now I've just like gone down this rabbit hole of it
with that feedback part, because I've done that too, and I'm a person that like says it, or used to. I feel like I don't as much anymore. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like just because there's a good advice there out there for someone, and maybe it would help them, it doesn't mean that they're ready to receive it.
Well, half the time I don't even send it to them. Because you're more of the, I will look it up and give you the feedback and tell you everything that I think. I am more of the, I know I'm too scared to tell the person the stuff, and they didn't ask for it, but I've done all the research on it. And if they come to, I don't know.
You're prepared.
Yeah, I'm prepared. If they decide to like ask me a question, I have the answers.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've spent all this time researching stuff that I really didn't need to spend time doing, because I'm not going to share it because they didn't ask, and they're probably not going to ask me. So now you tell me, what was the point of me doing that? And then the other part is, sometimes I do feel like if I know specifically that someone's going through something, I feel sometimes guilty sharing that I'm going through something so good, or that something in my life is so good. So then when I go to post it, or I think about posting it, I'll stop myself. And then I feel bad that I feel guilty that I can't post the thing that I want to, because I'm overthinking it. So It's a little bit of both.
But is the person someone you're close with?
Yeah, usually I know something that they're going through, so then that's why. And then I'm
But
like,
but is it like a close friend?
it'll usually be like a close friend or family. And then I'll like hesitate. Yeah, because other people, I mean, I know people, but I don't like know them that personally, so I won't. But
if I think that, I don't know if that's a thing that I think. I think sometimes like there's chats, and sometimes you get really good news the same day that somebody gets really bad news. So then I'm not going to share the good news that day. You know, maybe I wait until 2 days from now when it's not so fresh that you got your bad news. Because like our chat, like we share a lot of things, but sometimes it's not the moment because somebody is going through something. So I'll wait, but not like, I don't know.
yeah. The other thing is, and
Social media.
someone posted this actually that I read today. I went down a rabbit hole of this woman's Instagram. I've never followed her, don't even know her, went down the rabbit hole on her Instagram. And it actually resonated with me because I was like, I think I do that too. Where she was saying that she was very upset on Instagram. I guess people have been tearing her down, criticizing her, doing all this stuff and like making fun of her and, negative comments and all these things. And she said that sometimes she has great news or things that she wants to post, but she's scared to post them because she feels like people are going to criticize her or take away that moment from her because they're going to make her feel bad about it.
No.
And I don't think people are going to like comment negative things on me, but I feel like sometimes they might think something negative and then or like criticize me or judge me in their head. And then that also makes me stop. Like the workout, now I just post all my workout videos, right? And I post a lot of them, but they're for me because I like to see my progress and I feel good about my progress. So then I post those things. But I used to feel weird posting them because I would be like, people are going to think she doesn't look like she works out. So why is she posting this? Or she doesn't, her body's not great. What the hell is she posting? Then like that would make me not post either. So those are just like different things that I think about in my head that make me crazy.
So weird. I think everybody has different things. My thing on Instagram is boring. So I feel like people are going to be like, why are you posting this?
That's the other thing, yeah.
But, I'm grateful and I don't have that big of a following. Because I think if you get to a huge level, like she probably has a huge following.
Yeah, she does. The person that I was talking about does have a huge following.
I mean, with such a huge following, it's expected you're going to have some haters. So I don't have that, thankfully, on Instagram yet. And I hope that when that moment comes, I've built the muscle to be strong. But even in your life, there might be people that are more negative or like Debbie Downers. So sometimes certain news or like an idea, you might not want to share with that person because then they're going to shoot it down. And you're not strong enough. Like, let's say it's an idea. You might not be strong enough to continue with your idea yet or feel strong enough about it to continue with it. So don't share it with everybody. If you have someone you trust to be like opinionated but fair and positive, then that might be your person. If not, just wait. And when you're strong enough to take negative or positive feedback on your idea, then do that. And same with the wins. I mean, find people that are going to celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
If it's somebody that's going to, I don't think it's normal, especially like often, to feel bothered by the wins of someone you love.
I don't either, and I think that's kind of shitty.
Right, so then I don't have that person as a close friend.
That's true.
That's what I was asking. Is it a close friend or just someone that, I don't mean like acquaintance, but like close, or like...
Yeah, but I also think that it's more me.
Oh, you don't think they're just thinking...
Yeah, I don't really think that they're probably going to take it that way. I think it's more me worrying that they're going to
you're being overly cautious about it, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's where I feel like I tend to not post some things that might be going through at the moment, and I kind of dim that because I feel like it's going to hurt someone or affect someone when it's probably not. It's just me thinking that way, and I should just be more like.
Yeah. Maybe you look at it like
hopefully
posting the positive things.
Yeah.
Is a light for someone else.
Yeah.
Like it either motivates them to post their wins or it motivates them to chase what they want to win in.
That's true.
Or like it's more of like I don't know. I really like people's wins. Sometimes I
do too. That's the thing.
Liking like people's engagement pictures, and I don't even know who they are. They just came up on my feed. I'm like, good for them.
I am very happy for people. Like that is one thing. Like I like seeing people's wins, but I never liked hearting things until Cathy was like, they've spent so much time creating this or putting this out there. You know how hard it is? And then I'm like, and that's your voice, by the way, apparently, right? I guess because that's the one I just used. But I'll just be like, now all of a sudden I'm like, I heart everything. Like, I'm like, oh, they posted that? Like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, oh, like everything in that I see. So if you don't know me and I liked your stuff, it's just because you posted it and I thought it was amazing. So yeah, for me, I've definitely felt that way. I think also with the world peace part, right? Sometimes it feels like heavy and you feel like, how can I be happy when all of these things are going on in the world, and they can be so negative and hard and people are really like suffering out there. So do you think that's happening more now than it did before?
Yeah, I think it's
me too
happening. More horrible things are happening now, at least in my lifetime. Obviously not all lifetimes, but in my lifetime this feels like the shittiest time.
Yeah.
And also everything is more visible.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
So it amplifies it on top of that. But I also think, and I find it an interesting thing, even before things are getting so bad right now, but it's interesting how like, even like in this block, like where I live, like somebody might have lost their spouse, somebody else is graduating, somebody else is getting married, somebody else lost a limb, like all at the same time, So even separate of like what's going on in politics and wars and things, even if that wasn't going on, while you're having an amazing day, somebody's losing a child. So
that's true.
Even if it wasn't as extreme as it is now, there's still always so many things happening in the world. You would never you would never allow yourself to be happy if you wait for it to be okay.
That is very well said. That's a good way of putting it.
So I always think of that, how interesting it is, how it's like little mini worlds happening all like at the same time.
Yeah, everyone's going through something or having a human experience.
Yeah. So there's a big difference in caring and carrying the stress or the feeling and things like that. And I always say that about therapists. I think a therapist needs to care enough to do this job well and want to help people, but not care so much that you carry it with you.
Yes.
And that's why I didn't have that difference, and that's why I can't do that, right? So feeling guilty doesn't really help anyone, right? It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't change that person's situation, because if you felt guilty and they got a little bit better, maybe it would be useful, but they don't, and now you're both in the bad situation.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that sometimes you feel this guilt and stuff, but how is that changing anything? You're feeling it, and it's nice to be empathetic and to like, feel for people and for situations and things that are going on. But at the same time, like if I just feel guilty and now I'm stuck in this guilt mode and not being productive, not doing anything and just kind of sitting there with it, what am I really changing?
Yeah. And something that my husband called me out on, he likes to call me out, and he's not into self-development at all.
Damn you, Ryan.
I know. And he has some insights, and I'm like, where do these come from? You don't even look into these things.
Where did you read that?
So like the more, like a recent one, like we had some people, both of us in the same week that, I don't even know how to word it correctly, but like they chose not to be here anymore.
Yes.
And I feel like, obviously this feeling must feel like 1,000 for this person, right? But I feel like if I feel like 20 of it, or 20, like a certain amount, yes, and it's still really heavy, like I feel like that. So I did feel, and that was the day that I was so stressed recently. So he's like, there's no point in feeling that way. So then I think like, you're just not an empathetic person. Like, how do you feel nothing? But at the same time, he's like, there's no point in feeling that way. But if you really care that much, why don't you go and do something about it? Maybe you join the suicide hotline thing and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. Like, yeah, I don't feel capable, but I do want to help other people or some way. So I do need to figure out a way to do that.
And I would love to figure that out with you, because I feel the same way. Like Cathy said, we recently know people that, have people in our lives that are no longer here. Because they chose not to be. And it is hard. It is hard to take the news. It is hard to feel happy sometimes. And then you think about that person and it really breaks, like it really weighs you down. But I also, like, I don't think I could join the suicide hotline. Like, I don't think that that's something that I could do, not because I don't want to, but because I don't feel equipped to be able to help somebody in that situation. I feel like I would take on so many people's emotions.
That would be the other thing.
Would be the other thing, which I don't know if I could handle that either, because just knowing that this person that I know did this is a lot for my emotions.
And the thing with the line too, like, so I watched this show that Mel needs to watch. It's called Shrinking. You might have seen it. It's freaking amazing. And they're about therapists. And one of them has a client that passes away. And she takes it hard, obviously, because she's disconnected enough where she could move forward, but it's a hit at the moment, you know, because she wanted to save this person. But and one of the therapists says, like, this is part of the job, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even if you were amazing, you're not going to be at 100% save rate because it's not fully up to you. So helping with that line, I know that even if I was equipped to do it right, I know I'm going to lose somebody at some point, and that is scary. But you know, my daughter, she wants to be a therapist and she's studying for that. She signed up for it.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know if she is waiting to be approved or what she told me last.
Even more now.
Yeah, she's going to do that. But she's that person where she cares, but a lot, but it doesn't.
But she could disconnect.
Yeah.
Which is good, because we need those types of people.
Yeah.
That can disconnect themselves from the situation and kind of, you know, help the person move through. But yes, if you figure out what you can do, maybe we can brainstorm on that, because we can do something
So
together.
maybe that's an outlet to let go of the feeling of carrying it for no reason, and instead of maybe we put that energy into doing something.
That'd be nice. So the decision piece, right? We all have different lives because we've all made different decisions, which is something that Cathy was mentioning before, right? Like, everyone has taken a different path in life, and someone, like she said, may have decided that they don't care and they're just going to spend and spend and spend freely, and even when they don't have the means, and now they're in a situation where they're broke. Right? But that's not your fault. And then you have decided differently, where you didn't have the means and you were very frugal and, you know, made sure to be very careful about your spending. And now you're at the point in life where you have the means and you feel good and you could kind of spend more freely. But those are decisions that everyone, you know, makes on their own for themselves. You can't make those decisions for people. So feeling good doesn't take anything from anyone, right? Just because I feel good about a situation in my life isn't taking away from someone else's situation. Why do you think that we feel like it does, though? Like, I don't know if you feel that way. I think you don't feel as much as I do, maybe, that it would take away from somebody else's. But why do you think that is something that people feel?
Well, I had to work on it a lot, and I'll tell you a story about like the money piece. But I think maybe we think it's like limited resources. Like, maybe we think that we had this opportunity and they didn't, but we could both be rich. We could both be healthy. We could both, you know, do all these things. So I believe now like that. I don't believe that it's limited. I think we can all go for it. Do we all have different obstacles to get there? Do we all start at different points?
Yes.
Is it harder for some of us? Absolutely. But I can still figure out how to get there. But with the money piece, it doesn't happen as much anymore. But when I was a little bit younger, enough where I was doing better. I was a district manager at T-Mobile, but I was still a single mom, and I take care of my mom. I'm sole breadwinner. And for some things, I'm like, I'm just a single mom. And other things, I'm like, I'm a single mom. I'm like superhuman. So when people ask me for money, and it would be like to pay a phone bill or to pay a thing, and I'm like, these people, they're all couples.
Yeah, how do you not realize that I'm single and you're married?
There's two of you.
Yes, I'm 100% with you on that.
I'm like,
I would feel that way too.
Why are you asking me? There's two of you, and there's one of me. Like, I don't understand. And then it made me, it would still give me guilt. I had to do a lot of work to not feel the guilt, because I would feel guilty not giving them the money. But I didn't feel like it was fair, because you lived a life I would have liked to and did all this spending when you didn't have the money, to now that I have sacrificed all that time and finally get to spend, you want to use the money that I saved up. And that doesn't feel fair to me, you know?
The other thing was, for me, so that exact thing has happened to me. But then these people are also a little older than me. Like, I feel like they should know better. And why are you coming to someone that's much younger than you? Like, at the time I was much younger, to ask for money when I was a single mom, a young single mom, you know? And you're like an older person that should know better, and you were married, and there's two of you.
Yeah.
That bothered me too. And then I would feel the guilt for not being, for saying like no, or being like, I would feel like, oh my God, I'm such, but then also my mother wouldn't make me feel great about that either. She'd be like, just help them out. I'd be like, why don't you help them out?
I don't know. So the thing with me is those people, I know how they live their life.
Yes.
And me giving them money is not really helping them.
Yeah.
So it's different. Like, there was a situation when I was much younger. I don't know which one came first, but one of my best friends from middle school, I think I might have been first. I needed money for something. I needed help. I don't remember what it was for, but I think it was like $2,000. We might have been like 18, 19. And I asked her and her husband if they would let me borrow it. And then we came up with like a payment plan, and I paid her back like less than a year, 6 months maybe. No problem. Like, never late. Like, she knew that I care about my bills and I pay everything. And I needed it for something. I don't know what it was. And then a little while later, maybe a year or two, her and her husband needed some money for something that they didn't have it yet, but they will have it. They just needed it like instantly. And I had it. So I lent them the money and they paid me back. Like, I think if I know that you truly need the help and you are good with your money, you're just having a situation, or sometimes maybe there's an opportunity and you need the money right now, and you would need 6 months to make this money, but the opportunity's today, I'll lend you the money. Maybe even give it if I have it. But if I already know that this is just wasted money and you ask everybody for money, this is just going down the drain, and I'd rather give that to my daughter or somebody that needs it more.
I agree.
But a lot of things, and this is, this channel is women based, right? And we speak to women in general, right? Anybody can watch, but so I don't know, but it feels like it's more women too, that we are programmed to be like more in the background, to shrink ourselves, to not brag, or to not take up too much space. Like, all of these things kind of just come together, right?
Yeah.
And it comes with this. So sometimes when your life is expanding, you're like not comfortable taking up that space.
Yes.
But you are allowed to feel good without having to explain it, without justifying it. And even when things aren't going well. For you, like, I know these are all things like we've been working on. It's funny how like some things are easy for me and they're hard for you, and then like the opposite. Like other things, like I have more anxiety and you don't. But then like the posting thing, like, so it's so different.
I know. Like, I worry about people more when I post, but then you're very much more empathetic than I am. So it's like, it's weird. It is funny.
So are there things in this process, like over time, that you've had to learn or like adjust on?
Definitely. I think, I work on the empathy piece, and like you said about the who it's for, like when you're lending money, right? Or if somebody asks you for something, I definitely have to look at, if it's for someone that is good with money and how they do with it, and if they really need it, and I'll kind of gauge myself on that. And I've had to learn that, because I used to just be like, okay, and just, and then that would put me in a bad situation maybe, right? Because either I really didn't have it to give, but I gave it because I felt bad that they were going through the situation, so then I just gave it anyway, and then I put myself in a tough spot. Or I had it to give, but then I should have probably not done it, because I knew that it wasn't going to work out for this person anyway. They were just going to spend it on whatever, and they were going to be in the same situation in another week and asking someone else. So something like that, I've definitely had to learn to gauge the situation better and to really trust my gut on how I feel about that.
And I think people have personal credit too.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think sometimes you do lend it, because I have lent it before, even if I thought it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't get it back. So I already know, like, if I give you money again, I have to be able to gift it, because I'm not getting it back.
Oh yeah.
And even like people that have a lot of money and are able to donate large amounts to charities, even for them, they need to vet the charities, because not all the charities are good.
Yes, some might be scams. You don't know.
I don't know who I was reading about recently that they were giving to a lot of charities. It might have been in the peer group that I go to. One of the businesses donates to charities, and they used to just donate to charities freely, thinking it's a charity, it's good. And they realized that it's really not. And they need to do their homework and research the charity, and what do they do, and how do they manage their money, and all that kind of stuff, to make sure they're putting their money in the right place.
It's really smart though, because you really should pay attention to those things. And my husband, he definitely has learned his lesson with doing the same thing. And now he always tells me, like, if someone asks for money and we go to give it, it is a gift, and we have to think of it as a gift and not think of it in any other way, because we might not get it back, and we have to be okay with that.
He's probably lost a good amount of money already.
Yeah, we're like, okay, we'll just gift it if anything, but hopefully we don't even have to worry about that. But learning to stay in the present and enjoy what's in front of you, I think that's really, really important without jumping ahead. And I think, that's one of the things that I've said with the posting stuff, like worrying about something that someone else might not even be really thinking, but I'm just thinking, I'm overly thinking it. So I'm hesitant to post something because I know that someone is going through something, and then I'm overly thinking that when that person is probably fine and my post isn't going to affect them at all, or they're happy for me, but I'm so far ahead in my thoughts about the whole thing that I then dim my happiness and myself instead. And I want to work on that a little bit. But you can care about people and feel good about your life at the same time, and they can both exist together. Because I think we should be proud about the stuff. Like, I feel like I struggled so much when I was younger. Like, I am so happy about where I am in life right now. And sometimes I do feel a little guilty for how happy I am. Like, I feel like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I shouldn't feel this happy. Like, I don't know. I'm like, man, things are so well and things are going so good. And like, I don't know if it's that I sometimes feel like maybe feel like I'm bragging, or people are going to take it like I'm bragging about it, but I'm not. I went through so much to get here.
I feel like you say it, you want to mention it more because it almost doesn't feel real.
It doesn't. Sometimes I feel like I need to pinch myself.
Yes.
Like, is this my life? Like, I have literally asked my husband that. We'll be laying in bed and I'm like, I'm so happy. Like, I'll just whisper to him, like, and it makes it, I want to cry. I'm like, I'm so happy. And he's like, I'm so happy too, babe. And I'm like, I don't feel like it's even real. And I feel like this can't be my reality right now.
I think our struggle time was longer than the great time.
Yes.
And the great time has already been a few years, but the struggle time was a lot more years.
It was.
So I think, or maybe because they were our first years, so that feels like who's in here.
Yeah.
The identity feels like that person that went through all those struggles. So like, you're just so excited to like share because you're like, oh my God, I made it here.
I know. And like, I get so happy about it. And then like, sometimes like we're with the friends and I'm just like, things are just great. And then I'm like, I feel a little guilty that I say those things. Like, I'm not trying to be boastful or brag, but it's just, life is so good. And I'm proud of where I am right now. And maybe that's the other thing. Like, I'm really proud of this life that I've built and how far I've come.
Yeah, agreed. I feel the same. So I have another thought. I wonder if how it's received depends on the level of healing of the person. So when you post, you're going to get both. You are going to get people that are triggered by it, but you're also going to get people that it's healing for them.
Yeah.
So for me, when I didn't grow up with my dad, so I have like that dad wound for a long time, till very recently. So sometimes when I would go out and I see dads with their daughters, it was like sad for me.
Aww.
Like, so one time I remember I went to Dave & Buster's and it was like daughter-dad night. It was so many. And I was there with my daughter. I think it was her birthday and she was there with friends. And it was just like, I don't feel like bad for them or like mad at them or anything. I just felt like sad, like that I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And then like when I healed that, every time I see like dads with their daughters or kids in general, I'm like, I feel like it, like, even though it's not mine, like it heals me a little bit. So at any time you are doing both.
Yeah.
So maybe if
my heart, that's so sweet.
if you trigger the person, it makes them realize that this is something, if they're aware, it makes them realize this is something they need to work on, or fix or improve.
Yeah, and hopefully they use it to heal and improve that part of themselves.
They say like when things trigger you, it's something about yourself you need to look at.
Yes.
And we've talked about that before.
We have a whole episode on it.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it.
So you might be unaware and ignore it, but it'll happen again and again and again. And before you know it, that annoying thing is just everything you see all the time. Yeah. So it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to deal with it. So maybe by doing that, you reframe and think that you're helping them.
I love that. Yeah.
Get there.
That's a good way of thinking about it.
So, remember, like, feeling good doesn't take away from somebody else. If anything, it might add to them and help them see something that they could get to, or inspired by it or triggered by it, that helps them heal something. So it doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you're human and you're living.
So you don't have to dim your life because someone else is struggling. You can still care. You can still feel good. You can still, post those posts and, not brag, but brag a little bit about yourself. It's fine because, you know, it's your life and you're living it, and everyone's having their own human experience.
If this episode resonated with you, if you felt that way at any time, or you know somebody who has, first like our episode, please. We would appreciate it if you could leave a comment, subscribe, and share it with somebody who you love that may be dimming their life as well and dimming their happiness. On our next episode, we're going to be talking about why it can be so hard to receive compliments from others. Ladies, I know this is a big one for us. So we're going to talk about why that is and obviously how we can work on it. So thanks for listening. And as always, your life, your rules, stay limitless.